Well, hi, Popmakers. This is this week's #1.
Well, Here Come the Aliens, for the title of the album, actually ended up being a part of the very first song written for the album. The first song on the album starts off with 1969, and in the chorus I'm singing Here Come the Aliens. The reason for that is because of an event that happened to me back in 2009, where I witnessed some astonishing lights in the sky, which I can only describe as UFO. Of course, it was going to be the inspiration for the artwork. I keep my eyes to the sky all the time. If I'm on a train, everyone else is looking into their phones, and I'm the only one sitting there looking up just to see if they come back again. So yeah, I keep my eyes peeled, and most of us, if you think about it, are looking at the ground or into our phones. So we're missing all the action. Two of us growing up together through a golden age. I grew up in the 60s. That was sort of the birth of pop music, really. Although, of course, rock and roll came along in the late 50s, which my dad knows all about. But 60s was the decade that I was introduced to pop music. And I think when you're a very young child and you hear songs, they live with you for the rest of your life. And I fell in love with pop music at a very young age. And of course, the 60s was an amazing decade for pop music. And then I was a teenager during the 70s. That's an incredible time to go through life. You're sort of falling in and out of love for the first time. These songs become the soundtrack to your life. So pop music is really deep in the heart of me and Ricky Wilde, and we wanted to write a song to really celebrate that, to thank it really for all the things it's brought into our lives, and to still be involved in it is so fantastic. I know that my father still feels really excited about pop music, and he's nearly 80, so I know there's nothing wrong with me. I think it's all right to still love pop music when you're nearly 60, which I really, really do. Pop feels ageless to me. The songs that I heard as a 3- and 4-year-old they still make me feel incredible the way I did. I mean, I wouldn't have understood what they meant at 3 and 4 or 5 years old. So the emotion of pop music, I think, lives on. That's why people still really love music from the past. At the moment, people particularly seem to love the 80s, the music of a decade that reminds them of maybe better times, or just some great songs. Those melodies just live on forever. Yes, they are ageless. I think that's a very fair comment. In my experience, probably the best thing that I've achieved over the years is keeping my sense of humour, which is quite a hard thing to keep. Not just from a career, but from life itself. It throws lots of stuff at you. So I would say that, keeping my lust for life and joy of life and my sense of humour, which helps when you're my age sometimes singing Kids in America. I love playing live. I mean, back in the 80s, I hardly ever played live. I did 1 or 2 tours, and of course I did a massive tour with Michael Jackson in '88. I've done more touring in the last 15 years than I did back then. I've got an incredible band. I really love it. The audience and I have grown up together. There's a fantastic shared history. There's a wonderful feeling in a crowd now. And they're all very forgiving, they're not expecting me to be 21 anymore. They're more than accepting that I'm not 21 and still singing these songs, which happily I'm still able to do. My voice is still really strong. So for me, playing live is a real privilege, and I absolutely love it. Not least of all because I have got an amazing band. They all play on the album, headed up by my brother, MD Ricky Wilde. Yeah, so I'm one of the lucky small percentage of the population in the whole world that gets to do this job, and I know how lucky I am. I mean, normally, and there's nothing wrong in it, I'll sort of rock up with my band and I'll pull a pair of oh-so-tight black jeans on and put on a leather jacket and belt out the tunes. But Here Come the Aliens, that would be kind of, missing a trick, wouldn't it, if I just did that? So I've got a stylist in, and we're making all these fab costumes, which are very glam rock inspired. we're going into a solid period of rehearsal to make sure it sounds great. It's going to look great. We're going to mix the past with the present. We're going to do a greatest hits thing, sandwiched between the tracks on the new album. It's going to be a bit noisy, so don't come along expecting to get too comfortable. And yeah, it's going to be a real celebration of music, particularly pop rock. So I can't wait.